So let me first guide you to my talk today, what I will be talking about. So my subtitle is The Life in the Day of a Professional Hacker. So I will divide my talk in three parts: morning, afternoon, and evening. And what does a hacker do at a developer conference? Well, I will try to make some money at the developer conference. But before I explain to you how I make the money at the conference, let me explain a couple of things to you. So in the world of IT security, we try to understand the difference between black hats and white hats. Okay, so the black hat people are those that try to attack, try to make money, try to do unethical things. Okay, and then there are the white hat people that try to defend, try to be ethical. Okay, so during my talk today, I will be switching roles. Okay, sometimes I will be the black hat. I will wear this cap for you guys, so you know I'm an attacker now. Or I will wear the white hat and show you guys I'm a defender now, I'm trying to defend stuff, okay? So, for the moment, I'm absolutely clearly a black hat. Because remember, I'm trying to make money at the conference. Oops. So, the attack that I'm going to present to you today is called a pineapple attack. Or as a subtitle, how to make some crypto coins at a conference, okay? So remember this slide that this Wi-Fi that I showed you in the beginning? So this is the setup that I have running. It's under our booth, sorry. So I have this free Wi-Fi. Do I have some pointer here? Oh yeah. So I have this free Wi-Fi up here, and whenever you connect to this, you actually don't connect to the Wi-Fi directly, you connect to my evil access point. And in this evil access point, things happen. So first of all, you're connected to my Wi-Fi interface, which is then routed to two tools called host 8PD and DNS mask. I will explain that in a second. And behind that, I have a proxy running that does the nasty, fancy stuff for me, okay? Let me explain to you the stuff in detail, what's happening here. So, first of all, remember the first parts in the evil access point is host 8PD and DNS mask. So host 8PD I use to create the Wi-Fi, to actually create the access point for you guys, so you can connect. And then I need DNS mask to do all the DHCP server for me and the DNS server, so you guys can actually have an IP address and internet. Then I have a proxy running, so all the requests that go through my access point, remember, oops, all the requests that go in from here are routed through my host 8PD through to my proxy. And the funny thing is, with the proxy, I have now complete control over your HTTP connections, okay? So I can decide which packets I let through my proxy, I can change them, I can delete them, I can do whatever I want with them. So the first thing I do, to make it a bit nicer and my attack a little bit easier, I strip away some security headers. So I'm sure everybody here has seen an HTTP header or an HTTP request in the past before, and so some of this stuff is bad for my attack, so I try to strip it away, I try to take it away, okay? So that's the content security policy header, the strict transport security header, and all of the caching stuff. So caching is not good, because if you ever cache a site, then it will not reload and it will not do my attack nicely, okay? So this is the actual attack. So whenever you connect to my Wi-Fi and open any HTTP page, I will inject this for 5 lines into your browser, okay? And it will execute in your browser, so your browser is nice enough to execute it for me. And what will happen? The JavaScript will start running. So you can see here, it connects to a web server called CoinHive and loads some JavaScript and then starts running in the browser. So let's put this all together, how this works. Whoops. So you guys connect to my access point, and I send the user the mining script, the JavaScript that we just saw. Whoops, here, remember? Then the phone or the computer of the user who connects to my access point starts running the script and starts calculating hashes. So that's if you ever work with cryptocurrencies, basically you need to solve some hard mathematical problems. You need to solve hashes or find hashes basically. And so that's what your phone does for me. So your coin starts calculating, starts running, your CPU starts running very, very fast. And whenever it finds a good hash, it sends it to the CoinHive server. So CoinHive is just a website that collects the hashes for me and adds them to my bank account. So whenever I have enough coins, so actually I'm not talking about Bitcoins here, we're talking about Monero coins, okay? Monero is think about it as like similar to Bitcoins. So whenever we have Bitcoins that I get one finished Monero coin, it's sent to my account, and I become rich. So whoops, this thing doesn't work. So basically, all your coin now belong to me. Whoever gets this reference, I will buy him a beer. What do you have next? So this is how the interface of CoinHive looks like, right? So you can see it right now. So this is just a screenshot, but I hope it's still running. So the hashes are being calculated. There's already 21,000 hashes being calculated, and it's sent to my account. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be rich after this. Sorry. So this is the amount of hashes that has been stolen is quite low. So I've maybe made a couple of cents, but at least that's something, right? So I'm a little bit richer now. So I didn't do any actual damage, okay? So sorry, I didn't really attack you. I stole your phone for a couple of CPU cycles. Sorry for that. But there is no actual harm done, okay? So your phones will continue working. Whenever you disconnect from my Wi-Fi, everything is fine again, okay? So don't worry, don't sue me, please. But what could have happened? So this is just a demonstration for me to show you guys what can happen if an attacker controls Wi-Fi and can do whatever attacks he wants to do with it. So I just listed a couple of things here that can happen if you do this. So I can basically steal all your sensitive data, okay? I can steal your passwords, your bank account data, whatever sensitive data you enter in your browser, in your phone, your Facebook posts, whatever you consider sensitive. I could inject real malware into your browser, so be it in your phone or into your computer, so I can exploit the browser, I can exploit the operating system, I can inject real malware, right? So I can send whatever file to your browser and have it executed. It's quite easy. Some older browsers, like for example, if you're using Windows computer and have Internet Explorer, that's a very old, very bad browser. So if you use that, it's very easy to abuse those kind of things and inject malware into your computer. And if I do that, I completely own your computer. I can completely control the computer, use it as a zombie for denial of service attacks. I can mine even more crypto coins with it. I can do whatever I want with it, okay? I'm the boss of your computer then. So, how do we protect against this? So I'm going to switch my hat now. So this is my white hat now, so let me try to teach you guys how to protect against this type of attack, okay? Because obviously it's not very nice that you connect to a random Wi-Fi and you're being attacked. So first of all, never forget your tinfoil hat. And what I'm trying to say with this picture is think before you do, and in the world of IT, maybe be a little bit more paranoid than unparanoid. That's my basic message. And so, as a user, what can you do as a normal user of Wi-Fi that goes to a conference, to wherever, and needs internet? So, first of all, do not blindly connect to any free Wi-Fi that you find, and think, hey, yay, free Wi-Fi, free internet, nice. Don't do that, okay? You have no idea who is behind that. You have no idea who who controls this Wi-Fi, if it's good, if it's bad, if they care, if they don't. So just ideally do not do this. So it's connecting to free Wi-Fi. It's a little bit like you know, putting your finger into a wall socket. So yeah, so just don't do it. What else? Prefer SSL, prefer encrypted connections, okay? So if you connect to a server encryptedly over SSL, my attack is a lot more difficult. It's still possible, but it's a lot more difficult, and you will have a lot greater chance of noticing it. And so these little icons that I put up there, you might know them from your phone or from your browser. So whenever you see this sign, the chances are good that you're secure. Not 100%. I see some head shaking over there, but yes, exactly. It's not 100%. So what else can you do? Don't do sensitive operations over a free Wi-Fi that you have no idea what it is about. So don't do home banking. Don't do, ideally, don't even check your emails over free Wi-Fi that you have no clue about. Okay? And so be careful. If you ever connect to a page like Facebook, for example, Facebook usually works over HTTPS, so you will usually see this sign when you go to Facebook, right? So if this sign suddenly goes away, that is a bad sign. Then you should go out of this Wi-Fi. That won't work well, because then you're probably being attacked, and you're probably being attacked by an attack called SSL stripping. So be careful when that happens. And if you have to do sensitive stuff over an insecure Wi-Fi, use a VPN connection. So maybe your company has a VPN connection, maybe you have a free one that you can connect to. VPNs make the connection a lot more secure, and if you don't screw up while doing the connection, you're actually very, very secure. So it's hard to screw that up. Okay. So what can you do as a website? Obviously, it's not nice if your website is being if the code of your website is being injected with crypto mining JavaScript. That's not very nice. So what can you do as an operator of a website to prevent against this type of thing? So again, use SSL or TLS. So do a good configuration about this. Add all the certificates to your website with proper server configuration. But still, if you only use SSL, I can still attack this with my evil access point. So you need to be better. You need to do better. You need to use something called HSTS, which is called HTTP Strict Transport Security. So I put on the slide, I put the header. This is an HTTP header that you need to send to your users, to the browser of your users. And this will tell the browser, never ever access this domain without HTTPS. Okay, so if I, as the operator of an evil access point, try to strip away the SSL connection, then your browser will notice and will warn you and will not let this happen. Okay, so this is a very good defense mechanism, but it has one downside. The first connection is still unsecure. I won't go into too much detail here, but if you also want to go prevent against this, there's something called HSTS preloading list, which is run by Mozilla, Google, and some other companies. So it's a good thing. Do that. Okay, so this was my first attack I'll showcase today, and now let's get to my afternoon. So you remember my morning, I went to a developer conference, make some money. In the afternoon, I mean, I have to work, right? So I'm employed at a company that I need to make some money for them, so not for me, unfortunately. So I need to work for the customer. So a couple of facts about me, about myself. I'm Dennis. I have been living most of my professional life in Munich, in Germany. Have been working there for a company called MGM, and I work as a security professional. So I do penetration tests, security consulting, code reviews, development consulting. So whatever you need in terms of security, this is basically us, and this is services we provide for our customers. The company I work for is MGM. You've seen our booth outside, maybe. Shameless plug here. We have 600 engineers, so mostly software developers all over the world. So I've shown a couple of our offices here. So the top one is the Munich office, view from our rooftop terrace. The middle one is actually not our office, but it should depict Washington. We have an office in Washington, and the last one is, I think, Hamburg in Germany. Since around 2 years, 2.5 years, we also have an office here in Nẵng. That's why we're here at this conference, and we're very proud to say that we have already over 80 developers, and yeah, and also a couple of security experts, but more to this later. What we do, we build software, so we build web applications and mobile applications, and this is the job of our developers. In my team, the security team, our job is making the software secure. So we try to perform penetration tests, consulting in the area of security, as I said before, source code reviews, developer training, this type of stuff. So, this thing is shit. So the work of a penetration tester. So you remember, I still have my white hat on. So this is very important to understand that what I've been showing before was just a showcase, okay? So I'm not an actual hacker in my real life. I only work for real customers. If the customer tells me I'm allowed to hack his website, then I do it, only in a very specifically clarified time frame. Then I will actually perform an attack against this website. So I don't go out and blindly hack stuff just because I can, because that would be unethical, right? So, and most importantly, no illegal activities. So, some of you might think, this is boring, like Homer. But I will try to show you why this is not boring, and try to give you another showcase about SQL injection. So this is another type of attack that I come across my daily life all the time. So I want to show you guys how easy it is to exploit an SQL injection attack. So let me set this up quickly. I'll get out of this hoodie, it's so warm. So I will need a little assistance here because I need my hands to speak. So I will fire up my... Oh. There we go. So I will fire up a virtual machine where I will show you this attack and how this attack works. Okay. So we will be going to a little page that I prepared for you. It's a blog, but it's an extremely vulnerable blog. Okay. So this is a showcase application, it's not a real application. It's an application my team has built. Hi team. And so I will show this attack with this website, okay? So let's look at this blog for a second. So you can see there's some blog posts here. So if I scroll down, you can see some nice articles. It's pretty cool. And if I click on one of these posts, you will see a new application, a new window opens, new site opens, and there was a parameter passed to the website, okay? So in this case, it was ID = 6. That will just pass to the server. The server probably did something with it, loaded something from the database, and is now showing me the result of this, which is the details for this blog post, okay? So this was almost sure loaded from a website, from a database, and then now shown in the website. So I will try to attack this single parameter. So remember, this is just one request that I sent to the server. I can even show you. So this is another tool that we use. I hope it's halfway readable. It's probably very small. This is another tool that we use. It's called Burp Suite, and it's a proxy tool. So whenever I make a request in my browser, it goes through my proxy tool, and I can read all the requests. So for example, this was the request that we just saw. So you saw there was a request to our vulnerable blog, and this was the parameter that was sent with it. Okay, so remember this ID = 6. So let's go back to our page, to the browser. And I will just enter one single character in this page. So it's a single quote, okay? String delimiter if you want. Let's send this. And what happened? Whoops, we get an error page. And halfway readable, I think it's good. So what you can see, it's showing me an error page that is very nice, and it's also showing me some SQL statements. So this is very, very helpful, very friendly of this application. So it's telling me, hey, there's something wrong with your SQL statement. You must be doing it wrong. And what I will do is I will say thank you to this application and exploit this now. And I will not exploit it manually because it will take quite a while. I will use a tool. I will use a tool called SQL Map to do the exploitation for me, and I want to show you how easy it is. You don't need any skills, so I'm completely clueless basically. I'm just running this tool, okay? So remember, this is our request that was sent to the server, so I will just take it and I will copy it to a file, give it a nice name that I can find later, and now go to my shell. Let's clear this quickly. Is this big enough? Should we make it a bit bigger? So, so remember, this is the request that we just saved from the other tool. Let's quickly look at it. So this is again the request. It's just in a different form or a different file. So it's again the request to this xvolt, and this is the path and the parameter that was sent to this website. Okay, so ID equals 6. And now all I do is fire up my tool, tell it to use this request that I just saved, and just let it run. So SQL Map is a tool that was developed by a very, very clever guy called Miroslav Stampar. Met him at a conference. He's absolutely crazy, but absolutely brilliant. So what it does, it just sends a lot of requests to this web application and tries to exploit an SQL injection. And so what you can see already, it already found out that this parameter ID that we were seeing before is exploitable. So, and it also found out that the database system behind this is probably Postgres SQL. So it asked me, do we want to continue with Postgres? I say, yes, please, and let it run for a while. So what's happening now is it's sending a lot of requests to this web application, okay? So this little tool just takes this one request and modifies it over and over again, and in the ID parameter sends lots of different SQL statements and tries to figure out the correct form, the correct attack, okay? So I'll let it run for a while, and so this is, I don't care about this. And yeah, so now it's already telling me, hey, I found out this parameter is exploitable. Do you want to test the others? No, I already have one. I don't need another one. So let me show you what this tool found. Now in this, how long was I talking? 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe? So it sent, where is it? It sent a total of 60 HTTP requests. So 60 requests from the tool to the server. And in this time, it found out that this parameter ID, remember from before, is exploitable. And it now found 4 different ways how to exploit it. So Boolean-based blind, error-based blind, stack queries, and a time-based blind attack. So I won't go into too much detail today what this means, but I'm just trying to show you how this works. And by the way, there's a very good speech about web security later today. So I think the speaker is here, say hello, and so please go to this talk, and he will probably explain more about SQL injection. Cool. And so what else did the tool find? It found, hey, it's using Postgres SQL. The web technology is JSP. So now this was not very impressive to the moment. So but now I have the tool is hooked to this application basically now, and now I can start exploiting it properly. So the first thing I will ask it, give me the banner. So the banner is usually the way how a website shows like what type of technology is being used, what operating system, what else. So it's already finished. So you can see here, okay, it's certain it's a Linux Debian. It's a 10.3 Postgres version, and the exact Debian version here as well. So all of this just through an SQL injection, remember, so it's just sending HTTP requests to this thing. Next thing I want to know is tell me the current user of the database. Whoops, current user. Or again, it's sending some more SQL, some more HTTP requests to this thing, and it found out, okay, the user is called xvoke app. Cool, nice. But now let's get to the meat. Let's steal some data. Let's do an actual attack, okay? So let's ask it which is the current database that this application is using. And after a couple of seconds, it already found out the database is called public. So cool, I will use this. Tell the tool, please use public, and now give me all the tables in this application. And remember, I'm still only sending HTTP requests. Okay, the tool is all it's doing is sending HTTP requests to the server and finding out all this information about the database. So here we can see the result. These are the tables of this database. So this looks very promising already. So we see posts. We see this is probably the stuff where the website content was loaded from. We see the comments of those posts. And the stuff that interests me most as a hacker, as an attacker, is a table called user, right? So the user is the stuff that I want. I want passwords. I want access to the application as much as possible. So let's tell it, okay, we want the table users. That's good. And now let's give me the column names. So what it now does, sends again, it's very fast, a lot of requests, and found out, okay, this table users contains username, passwords, salts, last name, first name, and so this is the meat. This is what I want as an attacker. So now all I need to do is say minus dump. So give me everything, give me all. And it will run a couple of times, and now extracting all the content from this users table. What is this? We want to store the hashes. Oh, it found some password hashes, and it's nice enough to offer me to compute them a little bit more afterwards, but I don't need this at the moment, and I also don't want to crack the passwords. Okay, so this is the result. I will make it a little bit smaller so you guys can see it. So this is the content of the users table. Okay, so we see all the usernames, all the last name, first name, and the hash passwords. So how you crack hash passwords? So I'm not sure if maybe some of you know, but there's also tools that we can use to crack those hash passwords. Maybe in the other speech we'll hear a little bit more about this. A little bit, cool. So you go to this guy. So all I'm just teasing. So you go to this guy for the real content. And so yeah, so this was an attack. The live demo of an attack using SQL maps. So as you can tell, I don't need any skills to do this. Okay, I can just I just need to use this tool and point it to the correct website. Okay, to just and so that all the content comes out of it. So let's quickly switch back to my slides and explain to you guys a little bit more what happened here. So this is, so just to give you an understanding how this attack works. So this is how most web applications in the whole world work. So you have a field, user enters something, the data is sent to the web application. It's then, the web application does some business logic with it, and usually it tries to put the data into an SQL statement and load some data from a database, or put some data in a database. So in this case, it's a select statement, select user, and from the user table, and the content that the user entered is put into the where clause. Okay, so in this case, Mr. Dennis. So in the application code, this looks probably somewhat similar to this. So you can see there is the connection to the database is being opened. The input, the request parameter, is taken from the request and is put dynamically concatenated into the SQL statement, then executed. So what can go wrong here? Obviously, what happens if someone does not enter his name, but actually enters some SQL statement? So as you can see here, instead of entering my name in this application, now I entered an SQL statement. I changed the logic of this application by entering an SQL statement. So what I did, I just finished this, the first request with some characters and a single colon, and then added another request, another SQL statement after with the union statement, and select something else, another information from the database, okay? So this is a very easy way to get some more information. And this is basically how the tool works that I just showed you. It tries this type of strings, tries a lot of times, and tries to steal the information like this. And there's a lot more attacks similar to using just union injections. Oh shit, I forgot my hat. So imagine I wore the black hat at the moment. Now let's wear the white hat again. So show you how to protect against this. So remember here in this slide I showed you before, the problem is the dynamic, the concatenation, the string concatenation that was used here. So that the request was just taken and put into the SQL query just by string concatenation. And now the application, the SQL database has no chance of knowing, okay, what part is an attack, what part was added by the application, what part was added by the user. There's no chance of distinguishing that. So therefore, there is a construct that we There's a construct that we call prepare statement or stored procedures. That basically that means separate the actual SQL statement from the input from the user. I will show you in a second how this works. Also, what is always good is a principle that we call defense in depth. So that means protect your database properly. So use least privileged connections to your database. So only allow a certain user to access certain tables, so that if you have an attack working, it can only attack some parts and not everything. Separate table spaces, it's the same concept. And input encoding is just if you cannot do prepared statements, then do input encoding. I gathered up some examples of parameterized queries or prepared statements. So let's just go quickly through the Java example in this. So as you can see here, there's the request parameter is coming in, it's being stored in a variable. This is the query part. So this is more or less the same as what we saw before, but in this time, where the user input will go, it has a question mark now. So it's already telling the database, hey, there will be user input here, but whatever I put here, it's user input. It might be dangerous. You need to escape it properly. And this is what we do with the connection prepare statement. So here, whatever the user enters in the parameter, the variable cust name is put into the request, and it's properly escaped. So this construct and the database then protects you by properly escaping the dangerous characters. And this type of construct, as we see here, it works in basically every language, every modern programming language. You have something like prepared statement or stored procedures. So if you ever do database connections, never do it with dynamic string concatenation. Always use prepared statements. Okay. If you want to do some further reading on the topic, because maybe I got you interested, go to the OWASP. OWASP is a very good resource for all sorts of information around the web applications. By the way, OWASP means Open Web Application Security Project. Everything is for free. It's the non-profit organization, and we have an OWASP chapter in Nẵng, by the way. So if anyone wants to join, we have meetings every couple of months, so please join us. If you want to learn more about how to exploit an SQL injection, I would suggest that the two cheat sheets I put up there. So it contains a lot of useful information for how to exploit a database, how to attack, how to get information out of it. And the tool that I just used is SQL Map. So you can just go there, fork or clone the Git repository and run it. It's very cool. And give a nice give a star or a heart to Miroslav Stampar. So, as I said before, I will go through the day in the life of a professional hacker. And well, in the evening, usually I drink beer, and I also try to hire some people. So, first of all, the beer part. So this is our rooftop terrace where we usually drink beer. But as I said, I need to hire some people, so I'm trying to build a team here in Nẵng, a team of security experts, a team of security penetration testers, and so if you guys think that you might be interested in security, which you probably are because you are in this speech, and you more or less fit to this profile. So most important, you're curious about web application security or about IT security in general. You have some basic understanding of the web technologies, HTTP, HTML, JavaScript, SQL, this type of stuff. And if your English is good enough to follow my speech, then you're probably good enough. So if all of this fits to you, then I want you guys for Team Awesome, okay? So my team is growing. I currently have 2 team members. I need more. My team should be growing. So if you think this might be interesting for you, please scan this QR code and send me your CV. I would be very, very happy to receive your CV, and yeah, and then we can maybe talk later. So this was my speech. Any questions? There's a question down there. Or maybe take the one up there. I don't. We can take several, I guess. One second. I think we're taking one up there first. I think.
I want to. How can I protect my website from SQL injection?
Well, basically the way I showed you before. So let me put up the slide again. Where is it? There it is. So most of all, use prepared statements. Do not do dynamic concatenation, dynamic string concatenation, and yeah, prepared statements. That's the solution basically. Just use that. Does it answer your question? Cool. Thanks. So I think there was a question down here. This gentleman was here, raised his hand first. So he already warned me before that he will be asking difficult questions, so I'm looking forward.
So I'm asking you a few questions because I'm also researching in the area of security, and basically I'm Dr. Anandaya and I'm a computer scientist. Sir, as we know that in the terms of security, every company is working on machine learning and deep learning. So what do you think, first question of mine, that can machine learning based algorithm can be used to implement some algorithm or technique to kill switch any sort of SQL injection attack?
I'm pretty sure it can, yes. So this is definitely not my good topic. So this is just what I know from reading it or from following the news. But I'm very sure it can, because all types of SQL injection. So you've seen the attack with SQL map before. So if you run this through a proxy or something that you can see the request, you will see that it has a very similar footmark, all of them. So they will all have SQL statements in them. They will all be very long and very fast. So I think this should be rather easy for a machine learning algorithm to understand, to parse, and then to implement a good measuring. So yes, I'm pretty sure this should be possible.
And sir, one more question. It is regarding the ransomware. Now, as we know that ransomware is one of the most serious attacks these days for security. So if we want to pen test an organization, that organization is preventively not vulnerable against all types of ransomware. So what do you think as a penetration tester should be the first or the foremost steps to be done in order to prevent from ransomware?
So to prevent against ransomware, that one is hard. So I think one of the worst ransomware attacks is the encryption trojans, right? That go and encrypt all the files on the file system or on the network shares. So I just been to the Black Hat Asia in Singapore, so the conference, security conference, and there were quite a couple of people trying to show defenses against ransomware stuff. So I can give you some of the links later if you want. So some interesting things that I've seen. So one of them tries to listen on the network, and whenever there's lots of connections to Samba shares, for example, lots of and very fast connections to Samba shares, that means it's probably a ransomware attack because it's trying to access all the files and trying to encrypt them. Another way that I've seen is it tries to apply machine learning or AI to this kind of thing, and it tries to understand the network. So it tries to understand, okay, this computer might be an accountant. She always connects to this web application, which may be the banking app, but she never connects to all those file servers that she never uses. And if suddenly her computer very fastly connects to all those file servers, this is very likely to be an attack. So these AI algorithms try to learn these patterns, and then if something happens that is not out of the norm, then they try to block it and cut it down.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Any more questions? There was one or two over there, and one in the back. I think the gentleman in the red shirt.
Okay, so thank you, Danny, for your presentation. I have two questions for you. One is, recently I read the blog from Google. They suggest that we should use HTTPS for all the resource on the page, not only to protect the HTTPS to protect the user information like bank account, something, but also the image, the CSS file. So what is the benefit of using that? And the second question is in the table user you just saw me before, I can see the hash password and the SAN also, and some blog suggest that we should use the SAN to make the harder for hacker to decrypt the password. But when we can access to the database, so we have on the hash password and the SAN. So how can we make the hacker harder to attack that?
Okay, so let me answer the first question first. So that was about why do we need HTTPS for all resources, not only for websites but also for images, for CSS, for JavaScript. Basically to prevent this kind of attack. So the answer why you need these the HTTPS everywhere. So if you only encrypt the HTTP, the HTML stuff, then why not if you load the JavaScript over an unencrypted line, I can just inject my script in your JavaScript and run it from there. So you have gained nothing. And the other thing is, if the complete page is HTTPS protected and all the resources are loaded from it, it's basically very, very hard to attack, because the SSL context of this page is intact. So basically your browser can show you, hey, every resource from there is loaded from a secure resource, and you can be sure that, or you can be rather sure that you're quite good. And whenever there's an unencrypted resource in the page, I can just use this to attack your stuff. Okay. And your second question was about, oh yeah, the hash passwords. So you said you saw salts and hashes in my database, and I think the question was, what is the good measure how to properly store passwords in a database? Is that correct? No? Or how to attack that, right?
Yeah. My question is, some blog suggest that we should use the SAN and the password to have together to make it harder for hacker to attack. But when we can access to the user table, we have also the SAN and the hash password. So what is the benefit?
So the benefit is to slow down a hacker, like what I just shown. So if an attacker is able to exploit an SQL injection in your web application and steal all the content. So there's several levels of bad in this. So if you have the passwords in clear text, then I just have the passwords with SQL map, easy. So if you just run them through a hash, then I can very easily use dictionary attacks, or even look them up online, because there's lots of precompiled hash lists online. So I can map them against that. And so the reason why we use salts is to prevent this, to make the space of the passwords bigger, and to prevent this type of very easy lookup attacks. So you would need more sophisticated attacks. It takes too much time to explain right here. I will happily explain to you afterwards. There's an attack called rainbow table attack that we try to prevent against this, and also just brute forcing all the passwords we try to prevent with a different type of attack. So just one word. So the best way to properly store your passwords is use an algorithm that actually was designed to store passwords, something like bcrypt, or the PBKDF2 algorithm. I think those are very good examples of what you should do, how you should store your passwords. Okay? Was there more questions? One behind? Oh, there are lots of questions. Hi. Do we have time for more questions? Organizers? Yes, no, maybe? Yes? Okay, I hear yes, that's good.
Hi, Mr. Dennis. I have a question for you. What's your opinion about some people becoming a hacker and they want to attack some website in internet like YouTube? What do you think about what and disadvantage something they do internet and the world nowadays?
So the question more or less was, what do I think about hackers, right?
Yes.
So it's bad, obviously. You see, I'm wearing the white hat. So if you just go out on the internet and hack stuff, then you're this is, I mean, first of all, it's illegal, so it's not good. You're stealing people's data. You're stealing something, breaking into stuff. So let me rephrase the question. Is it okay for you if I break into your house? Probably not, right? And therefore the answer for me is it's not good if I just hack blindly into some stuff. And I think it's really stupid, and please don't do it. So if you want to hack stuff, come to my team, and you can do it legally, you know. So I think that's the better solution. Okay, my time is up. So if you have any more questions, our booth is out there. I will be there probably the rest of the day. So just come approach me and talk to me, and we will talk to you. Okay? Thank you.